what does bringing home the gold as a Canadian, like what does that mean to you, and how does that make you feel? Of course, very proud, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, anytime we can bring a medal home to Canada, it's such a proud moment, and we often get such warm receptions from Canadians, and you realize that people do care, and it matters, and it affects them. And you know, I remember coming back from Salt Lake City, and so many people saying that they had never watched a women's hockey game before, and that was the first one, and they remember where they were, or they were with their family, and to think that, you know, us playing a game that we love could impact so many people is amazing.
Because it's not only a pivotal moment in your life, but I guess you don't realize that it's pivotal for other people as well.
Exactly. There's sporting moments in Canadian history that really bring people together, and to think that we were part of that, or hopefully will be again in the future, is something that's so neat. I had an older brother who played hockey, and my parents were both very involved. My dad coached, my mom coached, and so it was pretty natural for me. You know, you're always watching Hockey Night in Canada, or playing hockey on the road, or going to watch my brother play. So I think I've just had a passion for it for as long as I can remember.
Something you just kind of grew up with.
Absolutely, yeah. I was always a big Wayne Gretzky fan, as a lot of people were, but first of all, for him as a hockey player, but beyond that, I always loved the way he conducted himself and represented the sport, and was a role model to young kids. And so I think he was kind of my idol in hockey growing up. And then I've been fortunate enough to play with so many great women in the national program, women that I looked up to when I was growing up, and France St. Louis, and the Cassie Campbells, and Vicky Sanaharas, and having an opportunity to play with those kind of players, I think helped me along the way as well.
In 1997, you were about 20 years old. And that's when you played in your first Women's World Hockey Championships, which your team won the gold medal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is it like to have that accomplishment, especially at such a young age?
Well, I think my first World Championships was so exciting. It was in Canada, and I remember it was an overtime game. We won in overtime for the first World Championship. So it was a moment I'll never forget. You know, standing on the blue line, it was the first moment, I think, in my hockey career where I really felt that Canadian pride, and it was just a perfect way to start my career here in Canada in a packed stadium and winning a World Championships in overtime.
And did you kind of feel like at that moment it was just kind of like, all right, this is where I need to be, this is where I see myself? You know?
Yeah, I had dreamt of playing for Canada for so long, and for that to be my first opportunity, and as I said, in Canada and winning in overtime, and it just seemed like a dream come true. And you know, it was the first chance I had to play for Canada, and I knew after that I wanted to make it to the Olympic Games and do the same thing there.
That's so exciting. Now, in 1999, 2000, and 2001, your team also won gold in the World Championships, in which you were the top scorer in 1999 and 2000. Tell us what your formula was to remain so successful in this sport.
Well, I think ultimately I love it. I have such a passion for the game, and anytime you do something that you truly love, it doesn't seem like work. It kind of seems easy. And you know, for me, every time I get a chance to play for Canada, or anytime I hit the ice, I'm competitive, and you know, I want to make sure that I can compete, and I'm intense, and I can make a difference and help my team win.
Yeah, and it's not something you see yourself kind of getting tired of at all?
No, and you know, I think about when I'm going to stop, and I can't imagine ever being ready to retire from the game, but obviously it's going to happen sooner or later, but it's something I truly love to do, and I feel really fortunate that I've been able to do it so long.
Good, and that's when you know you're in the right profession too, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, in the 1998 Nagano Olympic Games, that was the first time women's hockey was introduced into the Olympics. How important was this for you to bring back a medal to Canada, and what did you learn from that game?
1998 Olympics were so exciting. It was the first time women's hockey was in the sport, so it was incredible. It was an amazing experience. Unfortunately, you know, we were going for a gold medal, and we fell a little short and lost in the gold medal game. And at the time, seemed like the biggest disappointment in my hockey career. But after a while, you kind of find a sense of perspective around it, and we did everything we could to be ready and to prepare. And unfortunately, we came up a goal short, but in the big picture of things, I was so proud to be able to bring a medal home to Canada.
And it's such a huge step too, you know.
Absolutely,
so.
Yeah.
Now, in the 2002 Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City. You scored the winning goal against Sarah DaCosta of the United States team within a 1 second time period. Describe that moment and what was going through your mind during that time.
Well, at the time, we were winning 2-1, and it was the end of the second period, and I remember it really vividly for some reason, but we had a face-off in our own zone with about 12 seconds left, and I had just gone on the ice. It was 4-on-4, so our centerman, Vicky Sunahara, had won the draw, and as soon as she won it, I just kind of took off down the ice, and it's probably not the best move necessarily, but I was confident that we had control of the puck, and it went D to D, and our defenseman just threw it way down ice, and so I kind of chased it down and ended up on a breakaway, and once I was in tight on her, she kind of poke checked on me, and it was at that point I was just trying to do anything I could to get the puck over her and into the net, and it kind of rolled and bounced a bit, and it was kind of the slowest bouncing puck I think ever. It seemed like it took a few seconds to kind of get in the net, but once it did, it was crazy, and just to celebrate with my team, and that put us up 3-1. So we were going into the third period, and you were so excited, but we almost had to calm ourselves down because there was still 20 minutes to be played, and I guess it turned out to be the winning goal. We ended up winning 3-2, but standing on the blue line, getting our medals is what was really special about that game. Yeah, and it's you don't even remember really the goals when you think about the medals.
Yeah, and how did it feel when you received the medal? What was?
It's the most amazing feeling. It's kind of a whole lot of emotions all tied up in one. You're obviously excited, and you realize you've accomplished your dream, and then to see your teammates get medals is something that's so special. And we all had family in the stands, and to have them there, that's something that's special. And you're kind of sad it's over because it's been such an amazing ride, and you realize it's kind of come to an end. And so it's hard to explain all the emotions, but they kind of all just hit you in a big wave, and you just ride it.
Tell us a little bit about your relationship with the other women on the national hockey team. And do you maintain relationships outside of the game? Is there like a close bond between everyone, or is it more professional?
There's definitely a close bond. When there's 20 people on a team, there's always a few that you're very close with, and others that maybe you're not best friends, but definitely have a complete mutual respect for. But some of my best friends are people I played hockey with, and I've met so many incredible women and strong, independent, and successful women through hockey. It's been amazing, and like I said, I have friends that are going to be friends for life for sure that I played with, and you go through so many times and challenging times that it really does bring you closer together.
Now, competition and living the life of an athlete, what does that mean to you? Is it kind of just natural? Is it something you needed to adapt to?
Well, outside of competition, training is a lifestyle itself, and it's, that lifestyle determines what you do in your free time, and it's so important to make sure you recover and you rest from training sessions and competitions, and so that lifestyle never ends, the lifestyle of an athlete. And then in competition, it's that's the fun part. That's when everything you've done leading up, you get to display, the hard work, and hopefully it comes through and can make a difference.
And what do you feel drives you the most?
Definitely my passion for the sport is what drives me. If I didn't love what I do, it would be very difficult to put the time and the hours into what I do, but because I absolutely love it, I enjoy the training as well.
You enjoy every aspect of it. That's so refreshing to see that you love every aspect of it.
Yeah.
So, now, of course, you're very, very fit. What's your favorite workout routine?
Well, being on the ice that's what I love. That's what I do, as a hockey player. So nothing can compare to on the ice. But I do enjoy the training. I enjoy being in the gym and doing weight sessions. I'm not as much of a cardio person. That's a little more challenging, the aerobic fitness. But I love the weights. I love the strength, the balance, the core workouts that we do.
Do you think is kind of your personal style when it comes to playing hockey? And tell us if you have like a signature shot or a signature play that's your absolute favorite.
Well, as a player, I'm generally one of the smaller players, but one of the faster players. So my skating is definitely one of my biggest strengths. Around the net, I think I have strengths in terms of finishing and hopefully scoring goals and that sort of thing. And a signature shot is definitely my backhand. There's not a lot of players that shoot off their backhand all that often, and for me, I use it a lot, and I probably shoot harder on my backhand than I do on my forehand. And I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know if it means my forehand's weak, but I do use my backhand a lot, and it's been pretty successful for me.
That's fantastic. Did you practice that a lot, or was it just kind of natural?
I practiced it a ton, and I actually had a coach growing up, and she always made us do drills where if we switched and we ended up being on our backhand, you had to shoot your backhand.
Right.
And a lot of coaches don't enforce that with kids, but because I did it so much, it's so natural.
One of your greatest strengths now.
Absolutely.
Great. Of course, we all know that hockey is Canada's game. So do you feel that women are becoming more recognized in this sport?
I think, women definitely are becoming more recognized, and I think for young girls it's become a lot more acceptable to play hockey. So it's great to see the growth of the game, and men's hockey has been around for so long, and the women's game is just so young, and I think there's a lot of potential for where it can go, and it's constantly growing, which is exciting.
We know that the men's Olympic hockey started in the 1920s. What do you think were the steps that brought women's hockey to the forefront?
Well, I think for a lot of years women were playing, and it wasn't known that they were playing, and there was a lot of women who had to fight a lot of discrimination and fight limits that people maybe put on them. And I know as a young girl, I heard girls shouldn't play hockey; it's a boys' sport. And so there's a lot of girls that went through that, I think, to break down those barriers. But prior to me being on the national team, there were so many women that dedicated their lives to it and didn't get a lot of recognition, didn't get to play in world championships or Olympic games. And so it's those people that are the real kind of pioneers, I think, of the sport.
How would you compare the level of training of our athletes compared to women from other countries, such as Finland or the United States?
Well, I can only speak for my own sport, for women's hockey, and I know that we train, I believe we train harder than any other country in the world, and hockey is our sport, so we don't leave any stone kind of unturned. I think we have the physiologists and the sports psychologists and the strength training coaches, and we make sure that we look at every bit of our preparation and to make sure we're ready to compete. And that's something I'm really proud of, is our program and the training and the preparation that goes into it.
We know that funding is a prevalent issue that female players must face at every step of the training and competition. What do you think needs to be changed in Canada to support female athletes, especially in hockey?
Well, amateur athletes in Canada, we're fortunate that we get to do what we love, and the experiences we have are amazing, but there is funding concerns for athletes, and a lot of people put their lives on hold for a lot of years to compete for our country. And not that you'd change it in for anything, but to have an opportunity to make a career out of doing it would be something that I think the amateur athletes in Canada really deserve. And it's a matter of our government, I think, putting more money towards that, and I think it's also the corporate Canada that needs to get behind it as well. I think amateur athletes have a lot to offer in terms of being role models and providing good examples for young kids and breaking into sports that aren't as mainstream as maybe the professional sports in North America. So it would be nice to see more funding. It's coming along, but we'd like to see it come a little quicker. Yeah.
Exactly. Where do you see Canadian women's hockey in the future? And do you think more women will want to be a part of the sport, even with the problems that you do face?
Yeah, I think hockey is Canada's sport, and men, women, whatever it may be, I think that's always going to be the case here in Canada. And ultimately, to see a women's professional league would be something that would be really special. And I don't know how far down the road it is. Hopefully not too far, but yeah, if women could make a career out of playing hockey in our country and around the world, that would be the ideal, I think, for the sport.
Now, you also run a hockey camp with Laurie Dupuis. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Laurie grew up in Cornwall, and I'm in Kingston, so we were both kind of in the same area, and we met when we went to University of Toronto together and played on the national team. And we started a camp back in 1998, and we wanted to do something in Eastern Ontario because there wasn't a lot of girls hockey there. So we started it, and it caters just to women, young girls from the age of 4 or 5 all the way up to 16, 17. And for us, it's an opportunity to stay on the ice throughout the summer. We have a lot of great women role models that come down and teach the kids, and it's just fun to be a part of the game at a grassroots level, and hopefully help the young girls have fun with it.
That's amazing, and I'm sure that they really appreciate that, because it's something that they probably wouldn't be able to experience otherwise. Just to be kind of face to face with some of the best women hockey players in Canada.
Yeah, and
So,
as much as it's great for them, like, we love it and we have so much
Exactly.
fun with it too. So I think it works both ways.
yeah. Women are far more representative in fitness clubs and seem to be working hard to maintain a fit and healthy lifestyle. Why do you think this is, and do you think that it's kind of a step in the right direction?
Well, I think a healthy lifestyle is definitely a step in the right direction. I think being physically healthy keeps you mentally healthy in a lot of ways, and I think it makes you happier. I think it makes you more productive, and if you're happy, you're going to help people around you. And so hopefully it's a buzz that's catching on, and I hope that we as Canada, as a nation, can be leaders in the world in that. And I know some of the Scandinavian countries are very physically active and have very healthy cultures, and I think we have the same thing here, and I think I'd be so proud to think that we were one of the leaders in that aspect.
When do you find, in your opinion, when do women usually get started in this sport? And would you say you're happy with all you've accomplished at this point, or did you see yourself further or not as far?
Well, I think now girls are starting a lot younger. When I was young, I started fairly young, but I was playing with boys, and now young girls have the opportunity to start hockey at 4 or 5 years old, like every other Canadian boy, and they're playing with girls, and so they're definitely starting younger, and that's creating, the sport to grow, and there's more girls playing, and they're better at a younger age. For me in my career, I'm so happy, and I feel like, I always dreamed to play for Canada and play at a World Championships and play in the Olympics, but to think that, I would already have played in 3, and, training now and looking forward to my 4th with 2 gold medals. I can't even believe it's happened so fast, but it's definitely, I've accomplished everything in the sport that I dreamt of for sure, but I still have that fire to keep playing.
Okay, now, of all your successes and failures and everything that you've been through, what would you say is the best piece of advice that you can give to Canadian women?
Best piece of advice, I think, is to find something you're passionate about and follow it. And, don't let other people's limitations determine what you can accomplish. And, if I had to listen to people who said hockey was a boys' sport when I was young, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do something I love for so long and accomplish the things I've been able to accomplish. So, having the passion and having the courage to follow it, I think.
Yeah. Thank you. This is something that we ask everybody. What is your definition of beauty? Like, what makes a woman beautiful?
I think confidence makes someone beautiful. And as I said before, I think there's so many limitations and barriers out there that confidence allows you to conquer anything.
Now, what do you think Canadian women need most from modern society? Would you say it's like support, information?
I think it's confidence. I think, confidence for anyone, but especially, for women who often face some kind of limitations or barriers. Having the confidence to follow your dreams and do what you believe in is something that it's not easy to find, but when you find it, I think there are no borders to what you can accomplish.
So inspiring. Now, finally, one last question for you. What are your goals and expectations for the 2010 Vancouver Games?
Definitely to bring a gold medal home in 2010 is the ultimate goal, and we've been training now for 3 years to make sure we're ready and prepared to do that. And that's kind of the big goal, but in order to get there, I think there's a lot of small ones, and I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy the training, enjoy my teammates, appreciate that this opportunity to play in the Olympic Games in Canada is something so special and so unique, and it happens once in a lifetime.
Exactly.
So I want to take advantage of that and enjoy it, and I think if we do that, we have a very good chance to bring home a gold medal.
Definitely. And it's not everyone gets the opportunity to go 4 times either.
No.
So
Absolutely.
that's definitely an accomplishment in itself. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for gracing our cover. It's been such a pleasure, and we wish you the best of luck in Vancouver in 2010.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.